everyone, my name's Ellie and I'm a research assistant with the MaxCell team at Griffith University School of Applied Psychology, and I'm here today just to share some preliminary qualitative findings from our LaTCH research project. So cognitive impairment can reduce the quality of life and everyday functioning of brain tumour survivors. But despite this, very few interventions are currently available to support those requiring cognitive rehabilitation following diagnosis and treatment. So our study aimed to explore participants' perceptions of the value, applicability and feasibility of a memory skills program for brain tumour survivors known as LaTCH. So originally developed for older adults experiencing age-related cognitive decline, LaTCH is a telehealth delivered intervention adapted to improve brain tumour survivors' everyday memory performance. So it provides psychoeducation, practical advice and strategies for coping with memory challenges encountered in daily life following brain tumour. So LaTCH is a 6-week group-based intervention. It's delivered by 2 neuropsychologists online via Zoom, and it comprises of 6 2-hour interactive sessions plus a booster session, and includes weekly educational handouts and homework exercises. So we're currently conducting a randomized phase 2 study evaluating the effectiveness of LaTCH against a waitlist control condition, with a total of 65 participants now recruited. We're actually finished recruitment, which is exciting. So semi-structured interviews were conducted with participants who had completed the program up to about 5 weeks afterwards. And broadly, participants were asked about what elements of the program worked well, which elements required improvement, but more specifically, they were also asked whether the program was what they expected, whether content was useful, whether it helped address their memory concerns, and whether they had noticed any changes since completing the program. So to gauge feasibility of the potential future implementation of LaTCH, participants were also asked whether the program could be delivered, where the program could be delivered in the wider community, who could facilitate it, and what possible barriers could prevent participation. So following this, participants' qualitative accounts were auto-recorded and transcribed, and data on their experiences were analysed for preliminary themes, and feedback on feasibility was collated. So a total of 10 participants were interviewed, including 8 women and 2 men, and they had an average age of about 50 years. Overall, the interviewed participants were representative of our total research sample, and if you want to learn more about our research sample, we actually have a poster. So yeah, take time to check it out. So the qualitative analysis of participants' experience in LaTCH generated 2 broad preliminary themes. So that is changes in daily functioning and changes in mental well-being. Participants also provided detailed feedback on program elements that led to positive outcomes and also offered some suggestions for improvement. So yeah, firstly, participants reported an improvement in their everyday functioning following the implementation or increased intentional use of memory strategies. So for example, participants were able to locate frequently misplaced items using word associations. They could recall the names of new people they'd met by concentrating in conversations. They could remember to complete routine tasks using an acronym, and also memorize detailed information by remaining calm when given instructions. So regular opportunities to practice applying memory strategies in real life situations like via the homework exercises provided allowed many participants to learn which strategies were most applicable to them, and encourage them to adopt those strategies as a routine or habit. For other participants, improved knowledge of the effectiveness and legitimacy of memory strategies through education led to a re-adoption and increased intentional use of strategies they previously thought were unhelpful. So in addition to their daily functioning, participants also experienced an improvement in their mental well-being after learning that their memory strategies could be effectively managed using memory strategies. Participants reported a greater sense of control over these problems, and in turn, this increased their confidence in their ability to overcome future memory challenges. So due to this increased sense of self-efficacy, participants also experienced greater acceptance of their impaired cognitive functioning. So for many participants, this acceptance also increased through the normalization of their lived experience. So that is through education and interaction with fellow survivors. They gained an improved understanding of the impact of brain tumour on cognition. Following LaTCH, participants also reported greater feelings of hope for the future. For some, this arose from an improvement in their everyday functioning and confidence, but for others, hope grew after meeting fellow survivors, often for the first time, and witnessing them overcome similar adversities, including living years beyond their initial life expectancy. So the opportunity to bond with fellow brain tumour survivors also reduced feelings of loneliness and isolation. That is, through sharing their stories with others with a similar lived experience, participants felt genuinely understood, and as a result felt a greater sense of connection to other people. This was a particularly prominent theme among participants living in regional and remote Australia. So there are a number of program elements that resulted in positive outcomes for participants. So in addition to those previously stated, the interactive and collaborative nature of LaTCH was highly valued by participants, particularly the opportunity to learn how fellow survivors use strategies and overcome memory challenges. The facilitators were also viewed by participants as an integral part of LaTCH. So they described facilitators as approachable and patient and engaging and emotionally supportive and highly knowledgeable. So educational weekly handouts also allow participants to absorb session content in their own time, and this content was described as clear and comprehensive and well structured. Participants were further encouraged to practice using memory strategies as they were required to report on the progress of the homework exercise at the start of each session. And additionally, the task of setting memory goals and the provision of real-world practical examples for overcoming common memory challenges further motivated participants to take proactive steps to address their memory concerns. And lastly, the telehealth delivery of LaTCH ensured that those who would not be able to participate otherwise, due to geographical remoteness or reduced mobility or the inability to drive, could do so online. Very few changes were recommended by participants, but these included reducing the session lengths, introducing multiple breaks, decreasing the pace of content delivery, limiting the language to a year 10 level proficiency. I think we might know why, and including additional information on the impact of brain tumour on cognition, and as well as a glossary of key neuropsychology terms. Participants also further recommended developing an online website or portal to access session content between sessions and review testimonials from program graduates, and also to interact socially with fellow group members. So all participants agreed that LaTCH should be available to the wider population of brain tumour survivors, and each suggested possible locations and facilitators for future implementation. So online delivery was preferred by most participants. However, for face-to-face delivery, they recommend that LaTCH should be held in a quiet, comfortable and convenient space located in a well-known and well-respected brain tumour organisation or medical centre. They further recommended that any in-person programs should be ideally embedded in a larger support service, specifically dedicated to brain tumour survivors. There was also little consensus around among participants regarding the most suitable qualifications for facilitators, but it was generally agreed that the ideal candidate would have strong skills in facilitating group-based interventions. They would have prior experience working in the brain tumour community. They would have in-depth knowledge about memory and cognition, and the ability to empathetically respond to the emotional needs of group members. Furthermore, participants also reported possible barriers to future participation. In addition to travelling, financial supportability was deemed a significant barrier, with most participants stating that they would unlikely have been able to access the program without NDIS support or a government rebate. So, to conclude, LaTCH clearly addresses an unmet need among brain tumour survivors regardless of prognosis. Furthermore, while improved mental well-being was not a primary aim of our program, it produced positive changes in participants' self-efficacy, acceptance, hope for the future, and feelings of loneliness. So this indicates that LaTCH could offer an effective psychological support to survivors who may avoid accessing traditional mental health services.